Why do I film in thunderstorms? I know in Florida at like 2:30 p.m. we're gonna get a big thunderstorm, and yet here we are. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel After the Storm. My name is Michelle Prenay, and I am here to talk to you about some paperwork. I did some paperwork about my recurrent pregnancy loss. Because, you know, we're not dealing with enough emotionally, physically, mentally. Now we've got to fill out some forms. I do want to start this video by saying, I am so sorry. I feel bad about the way that I have been talking to my body. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this or if you guys have found yourselves doing this, but having had 2 losses, I wanted to blame somebody. I wanted to blame something. And the easiest culprit when your doctors tell you there is no reason, it is unexplained, is that I will blame my body. My body let me down. I felt like my body is a problem. It messed up being pregnant. It did not care for my baby the way it was supposed to. It let me down. There's something wrong with it. I'm blaming this. And boy, is that wrong and completely not helpful. My body went through trauma with 2 missed miscarriages. And I was sitting here attacking it. And I have spent some time these last few days really thinking about the ways that I think about my body, the ways I talk to myself about my body. Girl, let me tell you, I'm in a love affair with my body. I love my body. And once you know better, you do better. Anyway, the point is I love my body. Let's talk about our paperwork. Okay, so I did not write this. I did not make this up. I will link the document below where you can go and buy this. So this is by a woman named Katie Lee Hornberger, and she's a certified, not just any old genetic counselor, but a certified genetic counselor. And unfortunately, she also has recurrent pregnancy loss. So I'm very sorry, Katie. We're all sorry for our community, right? Katie was very helpful in creating this, and it kind of explains what the situation is. And then there are suggested tests to take for patients with RPL with detailed explanations of each test. So it looks like, I didn't read it all, I glanced at it. I really just wanted to get to the test taking portion because I like to take tests and win. No one wins in this game. Let's jump on in. I don't know if this is going to be interesting to know what my numbers are. I'm still going through testing, but let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be really embarrassing because I don't know how to pronounce any of these words. So the first little box is all about testing for APS, which is antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, APS. And this is an autoimmune disease making you more prone to thrombosis, which is blood clots. They'll have the diagnosis, and then they'll have the test name and the result and the date. I personally wish that they had like a reference range so you know whether you're good or bad. She might not have included it because it could be subjective. I know that for thyroid testing, for example, what is considered normal kind of varies clinic to clinic, but especially if you're talking about fertility, the numbers are different than just if you Google what's appropriate. So let's go ahead and start with APS and see how I tested. How did I do? Lupus anticoagulant, not detected. I can't pronounce any of these. Anticardiolipin antibodies was less than 2, and then something else that has words and letters was also fine. So all of that is fine. I'm surprised that they don't have factor V Leiden on here. which is also a blood clotting test. It's pretty standard. I guess it's a mutation, and I don't have it. I'm okay. I'm negative for that. And then we go down, and this is the uterine anatomy evaluation, and this is all about your HSG, an ultrasound, and/or hysteroscopy. I'm surprised they don't have endometrial biopsy on there. The endometrial biopsy will check for endometritis. Sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. But that will check for like inflammation, or maybe even like bacteria, and that would be a problem. So if they're in there anyway doing an HSG or an HSC, like why not just scrape some other stuff away and get that checked while they're in there. All of my stuff from the uterine anatomy evaluation came back normal. And it's so funny. I asked my doctor if she wanted to find an issue, and she was like, we sure do. Absolutely, we want there to be a problem, because then we can fix it. And I think also thinking about that, like hoping there was a problem with my body, thinking something's wrong with my body, something's wrong, so I can fix it. Again, like just that language with your body, there's something wrong with you, body. I'm gonna fix you, body, because you're broken, body. It's just not good language to use. How can I care for you, body? How can I support my body? How can I love my body? Moving on. Thyroid function. So Quest has been a little obnoxious lately. And I've had to kind of reach out to them and nudge them a little bit to get my results, because they're taking a really long time lately. So my TSH is 1.74. I don't know my T4, but I did ask for it, and I did do blood work for that. So I will add it below. Hopefully it's normal. So that was all good. Prolactin, fine. Diabetes, fine. And then she does have a couple of things in here for sperm source. He's a normal karyotype. Now my husband is not doing a YouTube channel. So I'm not gonna like blast his results online, but I will say that he had no notes. He was good. She just said his vitamin D was a little bit low, and just make sure he's on a good multivitamin and taking ubiquinol, which we already are. So that was a relief, especially because he's older. He's going to be 53 in like a couple of weeks. I have to buy his present still for his birthday. And so it was very good to hear that he was like good to go. Egg source workup, we've got the AMH. So maybe you guys will tell me how good or not good this is, but my AMH is 1.69, which I read somewhere online. Anything over 1.6 is like, you're pretty much gonna be okay if you go down IVF. It's a lot of these tests are in relation to IVF. I just think because they get studied more. My doctor said she wanted to see it closer to 2, but I think it's gonna be fine. My FSH is a 10, a little high, but my doctor said it's not a 12. 12 is when she'd be like, ugh, it's not a 12. She said she'll take it. She was fine with a 10. Now I haven't done the antral follicle count, the AFC, yet. I will when we go to get pregnant with our medicated and monitored cycle, but I have to get, this will be another test. I have to get cleared from my rheumatologist, which will hopefully be in a month. Very exciting. I did go in and get my, just like a random cycle day antral follicle count, and I had 14 eggs on one side and 6 on the other. It was probably more, but there was a big old egg getting ready to like hatch to get released. And I was a little panicky because I thought, oh, is that too many? Is that like PCOS? And she said, no, it'd have to be like 20 and 20, not just like 20 total. So I feel like my AFC is good, but I technically don't totally know yet. My carrier screening, I did this expanded carrier screening, I think is the name of it, where they test you for a gazillion things you could be a carrier for, and I am a carrier of 0 things. So my husband doesn't even need to get tested. Lucky guy, you're welcome. Vitamin D was a 42.78. And then you've got a little section for your spermies, which again, he's all good. I'll write it down, but I just didn't want to, like, again, put him on blast. He didn't ask for this. And products of conception. So if you guys have had, sorry, it's just like, ugh. It's all fun and games until you have to be like, the products of conception. If you have those tested, then you could see if there was like a genetic component to that. My first loss was a DNC. We did test the products of conception and there were no abnormalities. There wasn't anything that they saw. Everything looked healthy and good. Which like I guess is good, and then is also like, again, there's nothing you can point your finger at. You can't say, oh, well, it was because of blah, blah, blah. No, we don't know. The second one, I did take meso. I did take the pill. We did NIPT testing and got the results back that it was all low risk for all the trisomy stuff. We did find out the sex of the baby. We found out we were having a son, but everything looked good. So again, not like a really clear indication of, oh, you have a trisomy issue and that's what's going on. So yeah, passed, I guess. And then it just says lifestyle, smoking, cigarettes, healthy BMI, alcohol, caffeine, drug use. It doesn't say whether these things are good or bad. They just list them all together. And then I guess you can decide. Cigarette smoking, bad. Healthy BMI, good. Yeah. Oh, and I'll tell you, I do not smoke. I do have a healthy BMI. I drink once or twice a week. I was completely off caffeine, and then I thought, like, live your life a little bit. So I do have a little bit of caffeine, again, just like once, maybe twice a week. I really typically do decaf. And then I do not take drugs. Really good, really informative, really neat, not as in like neato burrito. It's an amazing, amazing resource. I totally recommend it. I think it's really comforting too, to just make sure all your bases are covered. I do have a couple of things that I would add onto it. So if I made up my own, I would make some spaces. First of all, I would mark on mine whether something was a problem, whether something was out of range, or whether I tested positive for something I was supposed to test negative for, or the other way around. So one of the things I think should definitely be on here is if you are a carrier of the MTHFR gene mutation. I cannot process folic acid correctly. I would also add vitamin D levels for the spermies. What does that look like? This is controversial because the studies on it just, I guess, aren't totally conclusive. So I get why it's not on here. I would suggest doing a cycle day 21 progesterone level. Now, that does not mean that you literally go in on cycle day 21 unless you know that you ovulated on cycle day 14. So it's 7 days after you ovulated. And then that should be like the peak of your progesterone. They want it to be over a 10. Mine is a 6.75. It's really low, and I'm not surprised. I had to be on progesterone to get pregnant with all of my pregnancies, and it worked with my first one in that it made everything good and happy for my daughter. My former OB, whom I no longer go to, after I had my miscarriage, he fought me on progesterone. I said, I need it. My luteal phase is 7 days. It's supposed to be like 14 days. He's like, I'll prescribe it to you against my will. And then when I miscarried, he goes, told you it wouldn't work. And I'm like, you asshole, like, bye. The reason that I'm benched is because I got a positive ANA, and that stands for anti-nuclear antibodies. So basically, it's a marker for autoimmune issues, which is when your body attacks itself. So that's been really fun. I'm kidding, by the way, it's been horrible. Because I have the positive ANA, I have been referred out to a rheumatologist. If I was negative, based on all my other blood work, I would be able to start trying immediately. I would have gone into the doctor and they would have pumped me full of stuff, like not semen, I get pumped full of that at my home. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and going through some paperwork with me on my recurrent pregnancy loss. I guess that's it. I don't know. It feels a little anticlimactic. Like, I didn't get a grade. I think that's why. I'm like, I did my paperwork. Here you go. Nothing. If you take a BuzzFeed quiz of like, which Harry Potter character are you, you get a result. I feel like I put in the work and my result was just like the test again. But my answers are already filled in. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell, do all of those fun things, and I will see you guys next time, and let's just have some more fun. Maybe less homework. Maybe less homework.